Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
All right, let's talk about Craig Kimbrel. This was, of course, a major announcement last week that the Braves were finally bringing up Craig Kimbrel, who had been in the minor league system all year long. And for a lot of Braves fans, this was kind of the first time you maybe have seen Kimbrel. Of course, he had a short stint in Double-A down here in Columbus. He then went to Triple-A in Gwinnett. He looked good in the minors. He had a 2 ERA through 18 appearances in both Double-A and Triple-A, primarily in Triple-A. And, really the only knock on him was his velocity. He was sitting around 92, 93 miles per hour. Maybe it got up to 94, but that was the biggest knock, is that, the velo is a question mark. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little surprised when they called him up, not because I didn't think he could do it, but because of the velo. I was concerned about the velo. And I was concerned on how that would play at the major league level, especially long term. Well, they call him up. He throws one inning where no runs were scored. He did give up a hit. He picked off a runner. I want to say Sean Murphy threw one runner out, caught him stealing. And then he struck out the final batter. I thought it was a decent appearance. I didn't think it was, what rookie Craig Kimbrel would look like. But I told you prior to this outing that I didn't think that would be the case. I didn't think Craig Kimbrel was going to be what Craig Kimbrel used to be. I was correct, as anybody could have predicted. What I did not predict was that the Braves would DFA him a day after. And this sent a lot of you guys into outrage, and I would argue rightfully so. And I wasn't happy about it. Like I said, Kimbrel came down here for Double-A. Here's his appearance right here. You can watch some of the film. This is one of the first of the three appearances he made at Double-A. And I'll tell you, he looked good. He may not be what he used to be, but he definitely could perform. And for me, my biggest question is, if you call him up purely to see what he's got, or you're mad that he's, it's not good enough. This is exactly what he was doing at the minor league level. This was not a surprise to me that he looked the way he did, that he didn't throw as hard as, maybe they were looking. Everybody knew where his velocity was sitting. It wasn't a surprise to those of us that were around. So I'm a bit surprised that it was a shocker to the Braves. And I don't think that's what it was. I think it was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to the 6 or 7 runs given up the day before to lose 11-10. It was definitely a knee-jerk reaction. It got the fans talking about something else other than the Braves' terrible record and season so far. I'm a bit upset just with the story this has turned into, because I don't think the Braves had any ill intent by calling Craig up and by releasing him later. I'm sure there was a conversation there that, Kimbrel, probably knew that this would be a short stint.
It's a great day for a new Chevrolet from Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take to the road in a rugged new Colorado. The midsize Chevy truck as low as $429 a month. Or plug into the future with the innovative Chevy Equinox EV. Lease yours today for just $199 a month. That is correct. Just $199 a month. People are coming from all over the USA to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
There were people talking at one point about, Craig Kimbrel may just want to retire as a Brave, and he kind of told the Braves, look, I understand, but I just want to, and I don't think that at all, because if that were the case, I don't think he would have elected free agency and signed with the Rangers. But here we are. And for me, as shaky as the bullpen has been this year, what harm would it have done to just leave Kimbrel there? The reasoning is that the Braves needed immediate help in pitching, and Kimbrel would have been unavailable for the next day. That's the reasoning. To me, it just seems like poor planning, and it doesn't seem like the front office that I am familiar with over the past couple of years. The front office that I used to see didn't make moves in a knee-jerk reaction, and certainly didn't make moves this public. I'm a bit disappointed in the way this was handled, and I wish that we could have a do-over, because the biggest thing to me is you couldn't let him, I hate to say let him fail, but you couldn't let him have one or two more appearances, maybe at home, maybe just one home appearance. That would have been nice for the fans. It would have certainly left a better taste in everybody's mouth, because this just feels like we got robbed. And, James McCann has since come out vilifying the Braves. By the way, McCann is currently in the Braves minor league system, I believe in AAA as a catcher. Basically saying, look, this is a Hall of Famer. What I'm telling you, that it should not have been this. It basically angered a lot of people in the minor league locker room, a lot of the veterans, within the minor leagues. And look, I don't know who it maybe ticked off at the major league level. I just thought it was a bit rushed and a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, and it just doesn't seem like the front office that I think we all know. I've always, kind of blindly trusted Double-A, giving him the benefit of the doubt, and that's because the World Series win, and especially the trade deadline that went with it, kind of earned you some grace. This year has tested that quite a bit, and this Craig Kimbrel situation kind of pushes that further. There's a guy I watch on YouTube here. A lot of you guys probably have seen him as well. David Sampson, former general manager of the Miami Marlins. It's an interesting guy to listen to, because he gives you kind of the perspective of a general manager. Even though he's not directly in those shoes, he's likely been there before. He spoke on this, and he basically said that, look, Kimbrel definitely knew. He definitely knew that this could be a one-day thing. He knew this could be a three-day thing, but he likely knew that it wasn't going to be a long-term staying power. But if that was the case, I think what rubs everybody the wrong way is the way it was presented. The way it was presented was, Kimbrel's so happy to be back. Here's his 3-year-old son who loves being here. Kimbrel's happy to be wearing the A on his hat. All is well, right? That's the way it was presented, and rightfully so. I mean, this is a homecoming of a guy who, I'll be honest, when I was coming up, when I was, a teenager, Kimbrel was it. Kimbrel was the guy, if you're looking for a reliever. And there's a very short list of people at that time who carried the weight of a Craig Kimbrel. When B.J. Upton got traded, when Justin Upton got traded, it was like, okay. When Craig Kimbrel got traded, that's when I went, oh, this is what we're doing, right? That was the one that stung a little, especially seeing him win a World Series later with Boston and having a Hall of Fame career and all of that. He's done most of that out of a Braves uniform. He's the all-time Braves saves leader, and he got treated like this. We'll never know what happened behind closed doors. It very well may have been, friendly, and I'm sure it was. But I just wish it was handled differently. I wish the Braves were in a spot where it could have been handled differently. I'm not sure that they were, and I'm not accusing anybody of making a mistake. But to me, this just seems like a missed opportunity to do something really great. If you're not going to have a winning season, which as of right now is not the case, it would have been nice for the fans to get something with Craig Kimbrel, because in my mind, back in the early days of Kimbrel, he had a guy named Billy Wagner who's going into the Hall of Fame this year, who mentored him in his final season as an Atlanta Brave. It would have been nice to me to have seen Kimbrel do the same. That doesn't fall on the Braves. That falls on the shoulders of Craig Kimbrel. He's got to live up to expectations. What does fall on the Braves is they didn't give him the opportunity to meet those expectations. He went out. He didn't have the greatest inning, but who on the Braves has had great relief appearances here lately? I'm just saying, I think this could have gone a lot of different ways, and unfortunately it went the worst way possible.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.